Oh,
Okay.
Maria O'Connor, welcome to Yellow Shelf. Good morning.
Good morning. I am so excited to be here chatting with you today. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Look, my pleasure. I feel like you wore the yellow, you showed up. It's exciting. Your book, your
Yes.
newest book is out now.
Yes.
Congratulations, Magical Dreams and Sewing Machines. Now, I don't have a
Yes.
copy, but I love the visual on the front. Like I just
Thank
love
you.
that front cover. Tell us all about the book.
Well, this is my debut book.
Yeah.
I have been a storyteller my whole life, but this is the first time that I've stepped out of that comfort zone and put pen to paper and created this beautiful tale. And I was inspired by my own journey of finding confidence as a young girl, because it's taken me all this time to actually jump into the book
Yeah.
and actually write it. But also my daughters and watching young people in general struggling with their own confidence. So the book itself, the main character, Elena, she's 14 and we're set in 19 mid 80s.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give a perspective of a different time. And she has grown up um, in this magical world of her Nonna, her atelier. So her Nonna's been a designer for many, many years, but her Nonna is this crazy, crazy character that can turn anything into magic, and Elena is captivated by her. So it is a book about discovering yourself and learning how to find that magic within, basically.
Mm.
That's putting it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Um, it was inspired, I guess, by my own journey through, I personally was in the couture fashion world from the age of 14,
Yes.
and I felt familiar with that. And also the fact that, that it touches on so many different topics, but creativity, absolutely brings out that confidence in yourself. And so, I
True.
wanted to encourage that. That's just one aspect. And then we've got the aspect of the interrelationship with, that older person in your life that has all this valuable sort of knowledge about how they've lived their life.
Yes.
So she has the story, has its highs and lows, but we watch Elena work through those
Yes.
in, a very whimsical, magical way. So it's quite light, but we do touch on a few things. And I think that's really important for the younger audience to see that no matter what struggles we have in life, there's always a magic within that.
Yeah.
So my theme is to create curiosity in your own journey and to embrace the magic within you. So that's putting it in a nutshell, basically, about the book. I don't want to give too much away
No.
because and I've had from people that have purchased the book and close friends and family. They've we've had mixed
Yeah.
reviews in that all good, but like my older friends have been like, wow, I felt nostalgic.
Yeah.
And then the younger adult is like, wow, it's a different world. So there's so many
Yeah.
different people reading it, but
Yes.
getting something out of it, which is
Yeah.
exactly what I wanted.
And I'm so glad that you touched on the nostalgia because when I read the book, I went to my grandmother's sewing room with her
Oh,
sewing, like, and so it took me on a journey, even as an adult reading it. And I have a daughter who's 13. So
oh,
there was
perfect.
this, yeah, there was this connection to creativity and nostalgia and memories for me. It was
Yes.
beautiful.
And doing that, what that does is give you the feeling. So when you go into nostalgia, there's a feeling attached to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get caught up in what we're doing for
Yeah.
others. And so it brings us back to ourselves. It brings us back
Yeah.
to that feeling we had with our grandmother, that feeling we had with our, auntie or uncle, where there was a fabulous memory there attached to it. And it's a feel good moment.
Yeah.
So
Well, I got that.
somebody somebody asked me, what is it that you would like your readers to get from the book? And I said, exactly whatever they feel, because it's a feeling. And
Yes.
from that, you know, it reminds us of who we are. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, bringing us back to ourselves and to our magic.
Yeah.
And I do like when I had the book launch a week ago,
Yes.
I did ask all the adults in the room to reflect on what their magic was as a
Yeah.
child. And
Yeah.
they really struggled because it's obviously something they haven't thought about. But it was so beautiful because I had adults coming out saying
Yeah.
things that they'd remembered about what they loved and what
Yes.
they did. And you could see the smile on their face, and they were like
Yes.
lit up with
Yeah.
that feeling.
Yes.
So I think it's really important for us to remember that we are magical without
Yeah.
the extension of what we're hearing. And
Yeah.
especially now with so much coming in externally,
Yeah.
sometimes we can get lost and
For
forget
sure.
ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And Maria, who's the book like who are you targeting the book at? Because as an adult reading the book, I felt all those connections. I felt
Oh,
all that
beautiful.
nostalgia.
Oh,
Is this a middle school book? Like parents are reading it? Like where do you think this sits? Like and or is it
yes.
both?
Well, it's actually sitting at that young adult because, you know, that's the market I'm hitting.
Sure.
But a lot of people, because I'm mostly at the moment, I'm setting up a website soon, but mostly at the moment on Instagram. So you're going to get mostly adults on Instagram.
True.
And I encourage parents to read this book because it is our what we want, not necessarily our responsibility, but well, I guess it is that, to remind ourselves that it's okay
Yes.
to be magical, to
Yeah.
have fun, you know, to be able to jump in puddles and laugh,
Yes.
you know. So it's geared at the, you know, 7 to 12,
Yeah.
you know, but I've said this before, adults can read it.
Yes.
And you know, your hot chocolate on a Sunday afternoon, it's a light read,
Yeah.
but it makes you feel good. And
Yeah.
that's what I hope for. So
Yeah.
obviously, as an author and with the publishers, they want to hit a market.
Sure. Yep.
Yep. But I do encourage, you know, don't look at it and think, oh, this is just for
For
my
kids. Yeah.
10-year-old,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
And I think it's good because you can share it.
Yes.
So whereas, you know, we want our children to read because we
Yes.
know that that just develops so many skills,
Yes.
emotionally and physically. But I think it's beautiful that we can actually share the moment and be like, well, I read the book too. What do you think? You know, and
Yeah.
have those chats about what Elena's going through.
Yeah.
Um, and it is quite lighthearted compared to
Yes.
what we see in the world now. But I think that's okay. It's okay to have that lighthearted version.
And it's good to escape it, and
Yeah,
get connected in other ways to fill our cups.
correct.
Maria, tell us.
Yes,
I mean, you touched on your career as a couturier. You touched on aspects of your life, and you also talked about the inspiration. So we've covered
yeah,
all that.
yeah, yeah,
Best way to connect with you at the moment is through Instagram. You and I follow each
correct.
other on Instagram,
Yeah,
and to see what you're up to and where to get the book. I'll put some links in on where we can get the book. Maria, would you write again? Like, what's
yes,
that journey like? Is there more to
yes,
come?
yes, there is. And it's interesting because for me as a writer, I don't write like methodically. I
Yeah.
don't sit down for 8 hours a day and write. I write intuitively.
Yes.
And when I was writing this book, it was anything goes. I didn't know where it was going to land as far as, you know, young adult, you know, older, mature, whatever.
Yeah.
And someone at the book launch prompted me, and I heard it, and then somebody else prompted me and said, so is this book going to be, is there going to be more of this story? And at
Yes.
the time I said, I can't tell you that. I know I'm going to write.
Yeah.
And then it kept coming up, and I
Yeah.
thought, it's funny because I felt like I wanted more of Elena.
Yes. Yeah.
So I hope to write more,
Fabulous.
um, with this story. And
Yeah.
I have another book as well, which I won't give, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
from a different perspective.
Sure.
I mean, in this book, we're looking at a young girl of 14, and I'd love to do the perspective of a young boy. Not that
Yeah.
it's but they, there's different feelings and different
Sure.
things. So yeah, there is definitely more to come. I've opened the doors. I've opened the
Yay.
floodgates.
Well, I would love to support you in the future if
Oh
there's more
wow,
to
thank you.
come.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap this up by saying
Yes.
people need to get curious, get the book, buy it for somebody, read it themselves, and then give you feedback. I think that's so
Oh yes,
powerful,
please.
isn't it? Because
Yeah.
people will have those questions, and that's why it's good to connect on Instagram and follow you. So, yeah, anyone who's read the book, and just even wants to give you a shout out, like
That would
that's
be
really,
amazing. Thank you so
yeah.
much, because all of that supports my journey in that I
Yeah.
can continue to write. Not that I wouldn't, but it makes it easier.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, Maria, good luck. I know you've had book launches. You're in that crazy period of enjoying the journey of a new book out there. Thank you for joining us. And I really would. I'd love you to support you in the future when more books come our way.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure and such a joy chatting with you. I could talk with you all day.
I know it's hard to keep it under 10 minutes, but
Yeah,
thank you so much.
you're welcome. All
Cheers.
righty.